Hello Ranger fans and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for clicking as always. Listen, your boy just finished Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 1 on Netflix. And I'm ready to do a review. For just you. That's right. You're the one I'm talking to. I'm ready to do a review for you. And you're back with the man who refuses to watch Game of Thrones, aka Jesse, aka the Golden Green Ranger. Why? Because both Tommy and Jason had awesome songs. They had their own unique themes that were awesome. I know it, you know it, we know it. But let's go on today. We're here to talk about Dino Fury, not my love for the Golden Green Ranger. We're talking about Dino Fury. More importantly, we're reviewing this season. Season 1 so far. And let's get this out of the way. Am I going to make you wait till the end to let you know what I thought of it? No, I'm going to let you know right away. It was awesome. It's definitely a watchable season. I'd go farther and say it's a really, really well done season.
Oh, what's happening? What? They morphed? Are you? Am I? Are we the
Green and Black Rangers? Yep.
Sweet! This is a dream come true. I know, right? Hold that thought. Skirts aren't really my thing.
Hey!
So I'd like to start off with just the storyline for this season. Pretty much you need to know that there's this alien race called Sporix. They destroyed the Red Ranger's original home planet after landing on Earth during the age of the dinosaurs. Him and the dinosaurs were able to team up thanks to the Morphin Masters and defeat the Sporix. Now they can't be destroyed, they can only be captured, and he decides to go put himself in a frozen state unless he needs to be woken up again. And that's where the story really picks off. We end up finding out the first episode that there's an enemy called Void Knight who really wants to get his hands on the Sporix. We don't know why yet. We will find out during the season. And he ends up inadvertently waking the Red Ranger up. Two unexpected people get the blue and pink power, and they end up fighting them off. And we get the explanation of the Sporix and all that. Really, I'm not doing the storyline any justification. You really need to watch it yourself and really enjoy it. But I thought it was pretty good for what it is. But let's go on to the important things, I think, of the season. Let's talk about characters. And characters, we have aplenty. Now, there's Zato, the Red Ranger, the leader of the team. I have a love-hate with his character. I like this idea that he's a fish out of water. He's been, in a sleep for billions of years, so he's learning everything as it comes. The actor has his moments where it kind of works, where he does look confused and he doesn't get sarcasm or certain terms, but other times I feel like his acting falls kind of flat. But overall, he's a good leader. I like the whole idea where he understands the Sporix. He understands this whole idea of knights, and he is a valiant warrior, so he's cool. I do want to point out he's played by Russell Curry, who's a known rapper, and he's actually really decent at that. So props to Power Rangers for going outside of the norm and casting him as the Red Ranger. Next, we have Ollie, the Blue Ranger of the team. He's a bit of a skeptic. Actually, one of my favorite characters, because I'm a bit of a skeptic as well. He doesn't take anything at face value. What I like about his character is it doesn't seem silly in the Power Ranger universe. Like, he understands that there's aliens, there's monsters, there's Power Rangers. That all exists in the universe. What he doesn't believe in is ghosts or supernatural events. And I kind of understand where he's coming from. He wants to look at everything from a scientific point. He's also the smart guy this season, really good with tech and gadgets, but that's just not his whole character. They really gave him a couple different arcs, which I really like. We have Amelia, the Pink Ranger. Now, she is the opposite of Ollie. She's the ghost hunter, believes in all things paranormal. Paranormal? Is that the word? Tell me in the comments. And she's a fun character as well. And then we get to the last two Rangers that get added later in the seasons, and these are actually my favorite. We have Javi, who is the Black Ranger. He is really into music. He's the older brother to the Green Ranger. Very protective over her and very charming, really into fashion, really cool character. Yeah, the Green Ranger, who is Izzy, was actually my favorite and the standout character, in my opinion, this season. She's a tomboyish high school student, left-handed, first ever female Green Ranger, and to me, she steals the show. She's hilarious in every scene. She's tough as nails. The trash talk she does, she makes an okay boomer joke in one of the episodes that I nearly fell out of my chair laughing at. I also love this dynamic that her and Javi, her brother, kind of do a role reversal where she is, although she's the female, she's the tough one that runs head first, and he's more into his looks, fashion, everything like that. It doesn't always become them. I mean, they are their own unique characters, but the dynamic between the Black and Green Ranger, brother and sister this season, is out of this world. I mean, they hit it. It's perfect. I can't compliment it any more than that. Then we have Solon, who is kind of the alpha this season. Really stands back in the command center. She sends out the Zords. I actually really like her character as well. She's part dinosaur, part robot. Doesn't play up the silliness of Alpha, is more of a serious character, and we actually get to see her in one of the episodes get down and actually fight. And she is an actually decent fighter. So probably one of my favorite kind of side characters. Like I said, Alpha type, but a little more serious than Alpha. Before we get into any of the extra characters, I want to stop on and talk about villains, because I actually like the villain this season. His name is Void Knight, and at first we have no idea why he's after the Sparks. He's just this purple knight with this deep voice that wants to fight the Rangers. He seems like he can get his hands dirty. He's fought the Rangers a couple times. And the only other recurring character we have this season is a Spork that got hatched in episode 2 named Mucus. Now, she's kind of the comedy relief villain. Normally, I get irritated with these kind of villains, but I actually kind of like the dynamic because Void Knight's so serious and she's so silly. It kind of works when they play off each other. On top of that, it kind of makes sense this season why he keeps Mucus around, and it's because you can see that she does all his lackey work. She builds the robots. She runs out and gets the Sporks after the monsters get defeated. She's kind of his gopher. Go for this, go for that kind of idea. So it makes sense that even though he's annoyed by her, he'd keep her around. So that dynamic actually really doesn't bother me. What we do find out, and this is a bit spoilish, so if you don't want to be spoiled here, I'd probably say skip ahead until you see me talk about something else. But we do find out that Void Knight has somebody locked away in a secret room, kind of like a Norma Freeze scenario, where this woman looks like she's frozen. I have my thoughts on who she is and who Void Knight is, but we can get towards that at the end of the video when I talk about where I think they're going for Season 2. So, let's get into some side characters. I'm going to go ahead and skip Ollie's mom because she really didn't have any character development except for a couple witty lines in the first episode.
I'm Zatesville. And this is my wise friend Solon.
I do, however, want to mention Warden Carlos Garcia. Now, Warden Carlos Garcia is the father to both Javi and Izzy this season. Now, I don't like him. He's mean, he's a jerk, he has no redeeming qualities, and he did one of the most Ranger sins you can do. Now, anytime in this franchise I've been watching for 20 plus years, anytime somebody questions aliens or monsters as existing, where do you live? Okay? In this universe, there's monsters, there's aliens. The Earth has been conquered multiple times. Carlos, get your head out of your butt and realize that if somebody's reporting they're seeing aliens, most likely they exist. Not a fan of him. Don't want to see him. If I see him in real life, probably a nice guy. I'm not going to do anything. But during the show, annoys me.
Sporks. They came from space.
They're this big, bumpy, squishy, and they can fly.
So you've given up on ghosts, and now it's space bombs that can fly. Tell me, is this their vehicle?
But let's talk about a character I do like. Now, that's Jane. Now, Jane this season is kind of the comedy relief. She's also the Ernie, if you will, of this season. You see, two of the Rangers work for this, like, BuzzFeed TikTok kind of place where they do online reviews. Very techie, very trendy, very main day kind of thing going on. And I like Jane. I like her as the boss. I like her as the comedy character. I think she's really great. My issue with Jane is in episode 2, they introduced her sidekick, her skull, if you will, which is this android / robot called J-Borg. My issue with is not only is this premise ridiculous that she has a full automatic robot with her, it doesn't work well. And I get it, it's a kid's show, but I think kids are smarter than that. I think this would have worked with just an assistant in this point, and Jane's just really mean to the assistant. I think that would have worked for the comedy. It worked for Bulk and Skull. It could work for Jane. There's even an episode where she puts a collar on the assistant and it turns her, or the robot, and it turns her into a cat, and the whole episode she's looking for her. It's like, I feel like that would have worked with an assistant just as well. Probably would have been funnier because it would have been a throwaway where Jane didn't even care about her assistant enough to try these new experiments on her. So, not a terrible comic relief, but really not a fan of J-Borg.
Good morning, J-Borg.
Good morning, Jane.
I need you to sign these papers for me as quickly as you can.
Side note, I do want to mention a character named Boomtower, who I kind of was a big fan of. He was one of Void Knight's generals. He ends up getting defeated halfway through season 1. I liked him just because he actually had some decent plans that worked, and he was a tough, adversary for the Rangers to go against. So, I'm going to overall leave my likes and dislikes, and then I'll talk about where I think Season 2 is headed, and we can go from there. So, characters I really, really like this season. I thought all the Rangers were great. Like I said, Izzy and Javier are the standouts. I really, really think they're great. Or Javi, excuse me. I think they're great. They stand out. Really, really fond of them. I think they're probably coming up some as my favorite Rangers. I really do like Void Knight, and even I'm giving Mucus a break because I think she works well off of Void Knight. I overall like the fact that they're just having fun this season. They seem like they're having a good time. The story makes sense, and the pacing for at least season 1 has worked really, really well. Things I did not like during this season. Now, I had mentioned earlier, they get their powers from the Morphin Masters. So I'm actually okay with this whole idea they have keys to run everything, because according to the timeline, this looks like this is probably the oldest Ranger team. So yeah, they would kind of need keys and things to activate their Zords. My issue is they do this awkward motion when they get a key activated, and I'm not going to say what it looks like because we'll leave this PG here. I'm just going to show this image, and you go ahead and decide what you think it looks like. So that's my one issue. I really didn't love the Zords this season. They kind of look like Lego pieces, in my opinion. I do like some of the animation when they come out, mostly just the T-Rex. The rest of it I kind of think looks kind of gaudy. But overall, not bad. Just not a big fan of the Zords. I can go on and on about how much I'm not a fan of Zaborg or Warden Garcia. And that's about it for the dislikes. Overall, I think the likes way outweigh the dislikes. I mean, much more enjoyable this season than I thought it was going to be. I had a real good time watching it. So, if you don't want to know where I think season 2 is going or any spoilers I might potentially hit on, even though, I'm always right, even though I've never done this before. So if I'm right this time, I'm 1 for 1, baby. So go ahead and stop listening if you don't want any spoilers or potential spoilers. If you don't care, you can listen to me. So, yeah, absolutely, I think Void Knight is Amelia's father, and that woman suspended and floating gelatin or ice is her mother. At the end of season 1, which the season ended a bit on a lackluster episode. I didn't even know it was the ending until I finished the season. But we find out that she was raised by her grandfather and that her parents went missing mysteriously. So obviously, you're going to find out who they are, and I really think that's who her parents are Void Knight and that woman that Void Knight has floating in ice, what it looks like. Why he hasn't recognized her, or does he recognize her, we don't know yet, but I think we'll get more into that. Pretty happy with where the season's going. I do know they're introducing a gold Dino Fury Ranger next season, so we'll see how well that goes over. But overall, definitely watchable. It's on Netflix right now, the first season, so I definitely recommend it. Okay, so we talked about Dino Fury today. We talked about how they had a banger of a song. You know what I'm saying? I do want to point out, listen, I took the time to do this review. Now I need you to do something. Take that beautiful finger of yours, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, then leave a comment. Try to do something positive, because if you don't, I'll comment right back. Oh, that's right. I go at trolls, man. I don't like that stuff. Or you can leave whatever you want. I really don't care. That's your prerogative. Anyway, I do appreciate you guys always listening and always commenting and responding. And I have something I need to tell you. Something that's really, really been bothering me. May the power protect you.